Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. Chris Holman here, and we are spending time with Tony Vernaci right now. He's the president of AIAM, Aerospace Industry Association of Michigan, and we are glad to have him on. Tony, I remember our first meeting was when you had this idea, right?
Boy, what the seed has done and blossomed into, Jeff and Chris, has just gone beyond our imagination. It's been an incredible journey, and believe it or not, it's just now only 5 years ago.
Isn't that unbelievable? It is the way you have grown. And there's still some market out there for you to go grab. Remind everybody of what AIAM is.
Yeah, so we're an industry trade organization, new, but relatively speaking to other trade organizations. But we're just now 5 years old. But our whole mission is to elevate and help people understand the awareness of the aerospace industry in Michigan, because it's a huge asset for our state that gets overshadowed by automotive, and it's been here for over 80 years, since World War II. And about 1,000 companies in the state are involved in the industry. But our primary objectives, our three pillars, is really networking to connect the industry internally here in the state, but also to the global industry. Advocacy, because we need to help our state legislators stay informed and understand the industry, and then talent education, because that's everybody's pain point right now, is getting enough talent to run their businesses.
Yeah, still just edged out as the number one challenge, which this 6 months has been inflation, but just barely ahead of talent for the first time in 3.5 years.
Yeah.
So I know where you're coming from. Listen, you guys are just coming off a big event at Grand Rapids. So let's talk about that.
It was just phenomenal. This was something that's been in the work for about 3 years, but then, like everything else, COVID kind of had it hit the pause button. But we've been wanting to hold an event in Michigan for the global aerospace industry, because there's really no other state in the country that owns this. Like the North American International Auto Show, everybody knows that's in Detroit, but there's not a nationwide annual aerospace event like this. So we wanted to put our flag in the ground and have it held in Michigan. And we did that September 6th and 7th over in Grand Rapids, or 7th and 8th, excuse me, over in Grand Rapids. And we had, there was over 160 companies attended, over 300 people from 4 different countries, and half of the United States. We had almost half. We had 21 states represented, and we brought in Boeing, Airbus, Lockheed Martin, all of the big tier ones. And it was really to let people know what the pandemic did to the industry, how the industry is recovering, and where the opportunities and the challenges are going forward. Because the 20-year forecast, the industry has not slowed down. It got paused, as we all know, because of COVID, but it is coming out of the gate strong, and it's stronger actually than it was pre-pandemic.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So how many other associations are there in the country like yours, specific to aerospace?
That's a great question. And we actually had somebody on one of our panels from the Pacific Northwest Aerospace Alliance in Seattle. And so that's an organization like ours. And she and I had a great conversation. I don't know the number, Chris, but I'm going to tell you, if it's double digits, that's a stretch. There's not very many around the country.
Well, it's ironic too, because I remember you were at MEDC working with a lot of different companies, and you identified this as a huge industry base with no representation.
No, it's a big industry here. Like I say, been around for 80 years. Huge opportunities for companies, especially as the auto industry is changing because of electric and autonomous, and that's impacting the supply base. There's huge opportunities. The big tier ones and the OEMs that were there last week in Grand Rapids said they need suppliers, because that is the constraint to get their product out the door, between the supply chain issues and talent. They need suppliers. It's a huge opportunity for the state.
I would think so. So who are your big sponsors, attendees, and speakers?
Well, like I say, we had Boeing, Airbus, Lockheed Martin, GE Aviation, Pratt Whitney, Eaton Aerospace, Morgan Stanley, was there, and Bank of America, all the top industry analysts that are travel around the world and are experts on the industry. It was just an incredible lineup. We had 37 speakers that all came in, and they were eager to be here. The response we got was overwhelming, and we've already got next year's scheduled. We've got it scheduled for Wednesday, Thursday after Labor Day, so September 6th and 7th next year. We're still working on what the location is going to be, whether we take it back to Grand Rapids or we move it someplace else and kind of move it around the state a bit. But we had a strong response. Everybody said, you got to do it again.
Tony, we got about 30 seconds left. Any big news come out of this?
Well, you know what? I think it was eye-opening for a lot of people because they didn't realize, everybody knows the industry was hit hard because of COVID. They did not realize the growth that's there. I mean, 20,000 commercial aircraft, what's forecast, or excuse me, 40,000 commercial aircraft over the next 20 years. So it's an unprecedented level of growth, and people just couldn't get over it and are excited about the opportunities it holds for companies in Michigan.
Well, I don't have to ask you if you're bullish on the future. Tony Vernaci, president of AIAM Aerospace. That's the Industry Association of Michigan. And always good to spend time with you. Keep it in the air.
All right. All right. Thanks, Chris. Have a good one.
You've been watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman.